This is her favorite Christmas tradition. She says, as opposed to a tree, we now set up a large nativity scene with twinkle lights behind it to mimic the night sky. I love hearing just how different family, because that would never occur to me. And so I'm so curious, does anybody else do something different than a traditional Christmas tree?
Hey everyone, this is Yvette Hampton. Welcome back to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast. I am so glad you are back with Abby and I today. Happy birthday to my Brooklyn. She is now officially an adult. You guys, I have an adult child.
I thought you were going to say happy birthday to Jesus, but also...
Well, his birthday was Monday.
Yeah. Okay. So also Brooklyn, 18.
And now
Yvette.
she's 18. So happy birthday to Brooklyn and Jesus. And here's the thing, her due date was December 27th. And so we assumed that she would be born sometime around Christmas time because, that was when her due date was. And so I don't know if I've told this story. I probably have, but I'll tell it really quickly again. We did Christmas that year. It was the year 2005. We did Christmas with our family, I think like 2 weeks before that.
Okay.
So that we would be available and ready to go have a baby. And so that year was when the first Narnia came out, Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh.
And so on Christmas Day, we went and saw Chronicles of Narnia in the movie theater, just Garrett and I.
Oh,
and then we went to a really nice restaurant and had a really, really fancy Christmas dinner. And I was, of course, huge pregnant because I was getting ready to deliver a baby like that day. And it was really fun. I remember asking the waiter, can you take our picture? We're on our way to the hospital, have a baby. And he's like, what? I was like, don't worry, I'm not in labor yet. But actually I was. I just didn't know it. So anyway, we had this dinner, went to the hospital.
Christmas.
It was so special. We went to the hospital. I had my big like exercise bouncy ball, because people told me I had to take that with me. I don't think I ever used it, but I had it. And so we went to the hospital on Christmas night because I was supposed to be induced the next day. Here's a weird story. I was supposed to be induced the next day because we had our insurance. We had a copay that was going to start over on January 1st. Oh, so I had to have her and we both had to be out of the hospital by the end of December, by December 31st, or else it would have cost us an extra $4,000.
Oh,
so we're like, baby, you're coming.
Yes.
Like now, we can't wait until January for you to come. So anyway, when I got to the hospital, I was already in labor and I didn't know it. Like they hooked me up to all the machine things and stuff. And they were like, can you feel that? And I was like, nope, I don't feel anything.
You could have waited till January 1st because I don't know if they do it anymore, but at our hospital, and I do not know if they do it anymore or if they do it anywhere else in the country, but the first baby of the new year was free.
Really?
Yeah. So wouldn't that be amazing? So you should have just like held out and then you'd have a free baby.
I don't think they did that at our hospital because we were in Los Angeles.
I bet they don't do that anymore. I think, I bet that's not a thing anymore.
That would have been cool.
Those were the good old days.
Yeah, it was so fun though. And you know what? My sister is amazing. So my sister made a basket, like a gift basket for the nurses, for the nursing staff. She made two. She made one for the delivery nursing staff and one for the recovery nursing staff. So we took those baskets in with us. And can I just tell you, we got the best service.
Oh, I bet.
Ever.
Because they were Christmas.
Because they were there on Christmas Day. Well, we did it for Lacey too. And she was born in October. But it was like, they were so grateful because they were there on Christmas. And we bought, my sister made them all kinds of.
Oh my goodness, that's the best baby having tradition.
Yeah. Oh, it was really fun. So yeah. So anyway,
that is
Brooklyn
so
was
cool.
born. She missed Christmas by 5 hours.
Wow.
I was so sad. I mean, because I wanted her to be born on Christmas Day. Like that was kind of the thing I was like,
so do you celebrate her birthday on her birthday or do you guys move it around? Yeah.
No, we usually do it either before, several weeks before, or usually a couple weeks after Christmas. So I mean, like we recognize her birthday on her birthday.
You don't ignore her, but
we don't ignore her.
But it'd be hard to do like birthday parties and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the greatest Christmas ever.
That sounds like the greatest Christmas ever.
Yeah. It was. Well, and as you guys know, again, if you've listened to the podcast for any length of time, she was born just short of 6 weeks before our 11-year anniversary. So we struggled with infertility for a very long time. And so she was truly the greatest Christmas gift besides Jesus, of course.
Yeah.
It was truly amazing. So anyway, we're going to talk more about other people's traditions, but first I want to say thank you to our amazing sponsor again, CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try them out for free. ctcmath.com. Well, alrighty, let's get back into these traditions.
All right.
And Abby and I were cracking up as we were reading through some of them because one of them said, and this one, there's not a name with this one, but I think that we could all fall into this category. Their favorite Christmas tradition was not doing school.
That's my favorite. That's like, so awesome.
That's really funny.
Good job, Mom, for speaking to all of our hearts. My favorite tradition.
If you're a true homeschooler, of course you would be like, well, our kids are learning every day.
Everything is learning.
Everything is learning. And so on Christmas Day, they're learning. So they're technically doing school.
Technically, this is
learning
school.
And growing. So
how much time do you take off at Christmas? Do you do like or do you just take off when you want to take off? Because that's how we do it. Like if there's something going on, we take off.
Yes. Yeah, that's more what we do. I mean, obviously the week of like Christmas and New Year's, we don't do any academic work.
Right.
And we kind of slow it down.
Yeah.
The weeks leading up because you get busy.
Yeah, that's true. That's how we do it. Or just change it up like we might do other things that are school that aren't your typical. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. We're flexible. I'll say we're flexible during the months.
But I also am not the mom
December
that's like, we're taking it off because that's what we have to, like, if we're not doing anything else, I'm like, we might as well, hit the books and then we can take off another day that we want to take off,
Right.
So it just changes every year. Every year changes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have another one, but before we get to it, I have to tell you about, because you shared your favorite Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm going to share with you like my least favorite Christmas. Okay. I remember one year when I had a 2.5. So Tatum was 2.5 and Colson was a brand new baby and Jesse was a police officer at the time and he had to work Christmas. And then the next day we were leaving for family and I will never forget that he was at work on Christmas Day and we were getting ready to leave town. And so like you and I said, like, when it's time to take down Christmas, it's time to take down Christmas. And so Christmas Day, I was taking down all the decorations, taking down the tree, putting everything. And it was fine because I was like, well, we're doing Christmas in a couple days, But it was so weird because it was like the onset of social media. It didn't really exist much before that. I mean, there was like MySpace, but nobody remembers that. And I remember looking at people and I'm like, everybody was having this beautiful Christmas and here I am like packing it away. And it felt so, it wasn't sad though, because it just was our life at the time. And then we were going to go do Christmas later. But it just felt so weird. It was like the weirdest thing. And then I'm like, what do you think the neighbors are thinking when they see me like carrying my tree out the front door and throwing it in the alley? Because I'm like, Christmas is over.
There's the Grinch.
It's noon. There's the Grinch over there with her darling little children. So that was such a weird one. Okay. So Elizabeth Miller, this is her favorite Christmas tradition. She says, as opposed to a tree, we now set up a large nativity scene with twinkle lights behind it to mimic the night sky. And I think what I loved about this is, when you do the things of Christmas around the world and you teach your kids, like, in Denmark, they put out their clogs instead of their stockings. And I love hearing just how different family, because that would never occur to me, but how different families. And so I'm so curious, does anybody else do something different than a traditional Christmas tree where like the Miller family that she just wrote in, Elizabeth Miller's family, they do a big nativity. And I think that's so neat. And I'm just so curious as to what people do. And if there are other alternatives. Jesse always wants to do a big sagebrush because we live in the land of sagebrush. Yeah. And he's like, can't we just put a giant sagebrush in the house for Christmas?
That's hilarious.
I know. And I've always vetoed it. But I mean, I haven't like vetoed it, but I'm like, you could put a sagebrush in the house anytime. Not that we ever will. But like, I don't know. I think I'd have a hard time not having a Christmas tree.
A sagebrush with ornaments.
I'm not feeling it. However, we did when Jesse and I first got married before kids, he and I, his parents and my parents, we went way into this little cabin in the middle of nowhere and we got a sagebrush because there were no Christmas trees. And then we handmade all of our ornaments and hung them on that tree because we were at nobody's homes. And so actually he did get a sagebrush tree and it was really fun. But so I don't know. I love hearing about what other people do that aren't that just traditional.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is you were just talking about Christmas around the world and like, what do other people do?
Yeah.
One of the traditions that Sabina said that they do is caroling in multiple languages.
Yes.
And I was like, well, that's fun. Except,
and smart Sabina. Not all of us have multiple languages.
And I'm so curious to know, like, how many languages does Sabina and her family know? Is it
that's so
like
cool.
English and Spanish? Or is it like English, Spanish, French, Portuguese? You know
I don't know, but she's clearly
Chinese.
one-upping the rest of our homeschools.
I know.
Because we speak one
really
language.
Cool, though. Or, I mean, here's the thing. You could find Christmas carols
and
in other languages, and you could learn them.
Yeah, that's so true.
So I
know Feliz Navidad. Do you? Or at least I know one line
true.
of it.
Yes.
I know a solid line of that song.
Right. I literally know those 3 words. Yes.
Do people still carol? Because I love that.
Oh, I mean, yes. People here in Oklahoma do, but it's like usually at like an event.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. At an event. Like we have people that carol at an event, but I like the going door to door in your neighborhood and caroling.
Oh yeah. That would be super fun.
Wouldn't that be cool?
It would be. But my girls would, when they were younger, we've done that before.
Yeah.
When they were younger, like going to neighbors' houses who we know.
Right.
But now they're way too cool for that. Like,
I think you'd have to get a few families together.
No, no. Even if we got a few families, they'd be like, "We're not." My girls would think that was like the dorkiest thing ever. They would never.
I love it. I watch a lot of British television though, so
do you? It's hilarious.
I feel like they do that there more. Yeah,
that's funny. Well, I mean, they do it on like every single Hallmark Christmas special.
They do. That's true. Also, let's bring it back. Well, actually, Sabina's family obviously has already brought it back, but let's let her inspire us.
Yes. So funny. All right. So our goal for the year is to learn Christmas caroling in like 6 different languages.
Yes.
That's going to be our homeschool assignment for the year.
I'm going to start with just mastering English, 6 songs in English.
Well, okay. I mean, that's fine if you don't want to live up to
Sabina's standard.
Sabina's standards.
Okay. Listen to this one. Amanda Walker, our family does the same thing. She gets the kids an ornament that's something significant from their year, like something they did or enjoyed that year. We do that too. And we used to do it with each kid. But then every year I'm like, this tree doesn't hold, because then our grandparents would get them. So now we've actually we get one ornament for the family that has something significant of that year for the whole family. And then it's fun when you decorate the tree, you like take this little trip through history.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah. That is super fun. Do you guys do that? No. My mom had a great tradition. And when we were kids, that she always bought us an ornament every year. My sister and I got to choose one, and it wasn't reflective of the year, but it was just like what we liked that year.
Oh,
and so it's kind of fun to see the progression of our ornaments and how they went from, like what a 3-year-old would pick to what an 18-year-old would pick.
Totally.
But sadly, they were in a box, and my mom gave me all my ornaments when I got married. And I don't even know how, but this box got wet somehow, and most of them got destroyed. It was really sad. So I don't have most of them. And I just don't do that with my girls. Like, I'll let them get ornaments each year. They usually pick an ornament, but it's not like a big,
like, this is significant of it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. My parents started that with us, and so we've just carried it on, but it's kind of fun. But then some years it's hard. It's like, wow, we had a really boring year. I don't know. Here's a glass ball that's red.
You could do Rocky Mountain oysters for ornaments.
Could totally. Oh my word.
My girls now, this is really fun. They both put a Christmas tree in their room and decorate it. They think that that's a really fun thing to do.
Way fun. Totally.
That was last year, I think, was the first. No, 2 years ago, Brooklyn put one in her room, and then last year, Lacey put one in her room. So they each have their own little, and they're just small ones, but it's fun for them to get to decorate them. So anyway, let's take a break. We'll be right back. We want to thank all of our sponsors for making this show possible: BJU Press Homeschool, CTC Math, Apologia, and IEW. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. Visit the show notes for links to these great companies and thank them for supporting the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast. We are back with Abby. Okay, this one I thought was really fun. This one's from Dorothy. And she said this is their tradition, having a shepherd's dinner sometime before Christmas, which both Abby and I read that. We were like, what is a shepherd's dinner?
But luckily for us, she goes on to explain it.
She goes on to explain. Thank you, Dorothy.
Thank you, Dorothy.
She said it helps us slow down and focus. We eat dinner on the floor in front of the Christmas tree. We read the Christmas story and eat charcuterie. You know, I can't say that word. I always just look, when I look at it, it looks like charcuterie.
Yeah. I think you said it right.
Board. Charcuterie board style foods. We include things we think the shepherds may have eaten, like cheese, fruit, dried meats, etc. we think about what the shepherds saw the night of our Savior's birth. And then she just says, we all really enjoy this night. So that is such a fun
I love that
tradition.
Yes.
Right?
And it really puts the focus back and takes you back to really what it was like. I think that's a unique and creative way of putting the focus back onto what it's about.
Yes, absolutely. It's, you hear of families who do like a little play. They'll act out the Christmas story, which is super fun. And again, when you have little kids, that's a really fun thing to do. Right. I mean, you could get a sheet or a pillowcase and all of a sudden you have Mary. I mean, it's so easy and it's fun for kids to do that. But this sounds like something that would be fun with little kids, but even with older kids.
Yeah, totally.
Where they're not having to, you could do this easily with your teens because every teen wants to eat cheese and fruit and dried meats.
You betcha.
Right?
Charcuterie boards are my favorite.
How do you say it?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie
boards.
It's such a weird word.
It is an interesting word, but that's like my favorite food. We do that like every Sunday night. But I think it's fun and I like that they sit on the floor by the tree. I don't know. I think that's a really special. Your kids are going to remember that big time.
Yeah. You do a charcuterie board every Sunday
we
night?
do. It's not necessarily the pretty board, but we do kind of appetizer finger foods Sunday nights with popcorn. So like sometimes we'll do like cheese, crackers, fruits, and then like I'll make one special appetizer like stuffed mushrooms or stuffed jalapeno pepper, like a fun appetizer, and then we do popcorn, and that's usually our Sunday night.
That is so cool. I did not know that about
we've
the
always done
Rinella
that
family.
Sunday nights, and actually Jesse and I did it before we even had kids because it's fun. It's gotten cheaper as we've had children. You know, it used to be like smoked salmon and brie, and now it's like cheddar and ham slices. No, I'm kidding.
Smoked salmon and brie. That sounds amazing.
I know. So fun. Dorothy, I love that one.
Yeah, that is fun. Yeah.
Okay, here's one that we do that I forgot when we were talking about getting an ornament each year. We started when the kids were little getting a Christmas book every year for them, and we give it to them when we when we decorate the tree. And now we just have this really awesome collection of our favorite Christmas books. So then we can read through them the whole month of December.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a really fun way to build your Christmas book library and then to pass them on. Yeah. So send me because I'm like running out of the greatest Christmas books. So send me, guys, tell me what your favorite Christmas picture books. We do picture books.
Do you have a favorite that you can think of off the top of your head that's not the best Christmas story ever? Because that's our
fabulous
favorite. I mean, we read that every year, which we've talked about that in the years past. Oh, is there another one that you're just like, I wish I had
what's his name? Jonathan Toomey. We love that one. We love. Oh, I wish I had my stack, you guys. There's so many. Maybe before this airs, I'll put out like a stack of our favorite Christmas books.
Yes. You send me a list. We'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes. Yeah. Because and then add to it, people, because I'm running out of good ones. But there are some beautiful, and we don't do like Mickey's favorite Christmas. No, we do like really beautiful, rich,
stories,
really good books,
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are fun.
Yeah. Yep. Things that point back to Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so much fun. Okay. So this one too, this is one I think that so many people do. But I love that Anita is the one who posted this. She said Advent wreath and devotions every night.
Love it.
So I know lots of people do Advent wreaths or Advent something, it doesn't have to be a wreath.
Yeah. A lot of these people did different Advent things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does your family do Advent?
Yeah, we do. And it's different each year, depending on what, but it's funny when I was a kid, the Advent to me was just, remember those paper things? And there was like a chocolate inside each, open the little paper. And like, that's what Advent was. Like, what was your candy of the night? But now we do some sort of an Advent that points you back to God and his word each evening,
Yeah.
So yeah, but there's lots of different Advents, but we don't do like this one special one each year, like a certain Advent book,
Yeah. But, which I know some people do. There are so many resources for Advent.
It's unbelievable how many resources.
Go on Pinterest and just Google Advent.
It's crazy.
5 million different options.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Okay. This one is a fun one. Which again, I mean, is I think something that lots of people do. And we talked already about cutting down the Christmas tree, but this is from Amy.
Yeah.
And she says, cutting down the perfect Christmas tree. Perfect. I love that she puts the word perfect in there.
The day after
cutting
Thanksgiving.
Down the perfect Christmas tree.
Like
the day after Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yep.
And then putting lights up on the house and pine trees in the yard. That I thought was fun. Like, to just put pine trees in the yard.
I love that.
So it makes the front yard more festive. And,
Yeah, she puts the lights on. And I love that she does the traditional large ones. You know, those multicolored big old bulbs.
Yeah, like you would have in the 70s and in the 60s.
I love those. I love it when people decorate their outside trees.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Me too. I don't know, our town here where we live. So we live just right outside of Tulsa, in a town called Broken Arrow. And the whole Tulsa area, we've never lived anywhere that does holidays like Oklahomans do. It's insane. Like they go all out. I mean, people already have, for the past like 3 weeks, there are neighborhoods where like the entrance to the neighborhood already has Christmas lights up.
Wow.
And then, there are
so everybody
many
goes
places.
all out on the outside of their house?
Not everybody, but a lot of people do. And there are some people who like literally decorate their entire yard. Like it's like a tourist attraction.
Wow.
Where you can go and walk through their yard
fun.
And then neighborhoods, you can go to the really rich neighborhoods in Tulsa and the lights and stuff, they're just amazing. And I cannot imagine how much work it takes to do it and more so to get it down. It would be awful.
Oh, I can't even imagine that. No. We have it. We live, right outside of a resort. And so we like to go to the resort because it's insane how they decorate. But I've noticed, so like we just do basic lights outside, but I've noticed this strange phenomenon, like with Jesse and the other men in the neighborhood. It's like, if anyone ups their game by like one bulb, then like all the houses up their game by like one light bulb. And it's like, oh, well, it's just been really funny to watch how I'm like, is this Christmas decorating outside of your house strangely competitive? It's hilarious.
Oh, the competition.
I know, it's funny.
The last one for today. Okay, let's do this. Family concert. I think that's so much fun. This was from Heather. And I don't know.
That's all she wrote is family concert.
Family concert.
Yeah.
But that would be fun.
I love it.
Especially if you have a singing family. Like
totally.
We're half of a singing family. So Garrett and Brooklyn both have really great voices.
Okay.
Lacey and I do not.
So you're the audience on family concert
We're the
night?
audience. We do a lot of karaoke in our house lately.
Oh,
and
fun.
My girls think it's hilarious. I refuse to do it because I refuse to embarrass myself. But I sit and I cheer them on and laugh hysterically because it's really, really funny. So it would be fun to do like Christmas karaoke with your family or an actual concert for people who actually can sing and play instruments.
Be an instrument, or obviously Heather comes from a musical family, but I wonder, like, you could invite grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles. Yeah. That's so fun. I love it.
It's a very homeschooly thing to do. I mean, if you have a musical family in any way, you could be practicing this through the month of December. So here's the thing, like that could be part of your school for December where you're not, if you're a musical family, you probably do music all the time.
All year. Yeah.
All year. But you could really focus on Christmas hymns or something like that. I love Christmas hymns, by the way.
Yeah.
But focus on Christmas hymns or other Christmas music in November and December. And then, yes, that would be really fun to invite neighbors. That would be a great outreach, right? For neighbors.
Totally.
Invite them to come over.
To your little Christmas concert.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. That will not happen in our home ever.
Nor will
But I would go
gifts.
if someone did a Christmas concert and invited us. I would totally go.
You'd be the best audience member.
I would be a great audience member. Anyway, we're out of time. We're going to come back tomorrow and talk about some more of your traditions. Thank you guys for sharing these with us. It is so much fun to get to read through these. Stay tuned to the very end to hear a clip of what we will be talking about tomorrow. And thank you guys so much again for joining us. If you've not watched the movie, if you have not gifted yourself the privilege of watching Schoolhouse Rocked, the Homeschool Revolution, it's free. It's like one of those things you don't have to pay for after you've just spent a bunch of money on Christmas. You can watch the movie for free. SchoolhouseRocked.com is where you can find everything Schoolhouse Rocked. You can find the movie for free. You can download our quick start guide for homeschooling. That's a great gift you can pass on to a friend. If maybe you've got a friend who's thinking about homeschooling and they're like, okay, it's Christmas break and I want to take my kids out of school. This is crazy. Share the movie with them. Share the podcast with them. We would be so grateful if you would do that. Thank you guys so much for being with us. We will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.
Often when I speak and I talk about the need to equip ourselves with a biblical worldview, and I'll mention to my audience that we got to recognize that around 90% of kids from church homes go to the public schools. And in those public schools, in a real sense, secularism, naturalism, atheism is the new religion of that system. The system itself is inherently atheistic because the system itself assumes right up front that you don't need God to explain anything, that you can explain all things, biology, anthropology, astronomy, mathematics, everything without God, without the Bible. That is the religion of humanism, naturalism, atheism. And for so many Christian parents, when we send our kids to that system, they're there for almost 40 hours a week, 9 months out of the year, and they're getting really hit with this atheistic worldview. And all the reasons, really, the atheistic worldview must be true, and if that's true, then the Bible can't be true.
Caitlin said this, and here's the thing. She's obviously an older, wiser, mature, she's the tightest two women, I think, that God tells us we should learn from. Here's what she said. We actually do less and less each year. I used to think that I had to do extra special things to make it more meaningful, but it only induced extra work and stress. The only thing we do now is a name of Jesus study every day. We have an ornament, and she went on to say some of the things that they do. But I love that first part that just said, I think she figured out after the years that sometimes doing less makes what you do more meaningful.